So yeah, the learning outcomes is kind of understanding the core building blocks of business strategy, and then identify the necessary steps to ensure you got the right people know about your hall, and then building on that, is generating your revenue. So I'll dive straight in. So the first thing is really to define your business. So I don't know whether you guys have ever kind of done any sort of business strategy training before, familiar with it, but there's kind of core components of you've got a product and you're offering it to a particular audience and you want to generate revenue from it. I've been using this canvas for years, and I'm going to use this as the basis of our talk today, and we're going to be gradually filling it out with the different components of it. So it looks a little bit overwhelming at the moment, and I'm not sure any of you have ever used or familiar with the business model canvas, but it can be overwhelming, but it is quite simple. I mean, if I simplify it further, on the left-hand side is your council. That is you. So you imagine anybody creating a business. You've got a bunch of people that you've got an idea, and then you want to offer that to people outside. So you've got your council, your people, your partners, your activities, your resources, such as your hall, and then you've got your customers on the right-hand side. And between the two of you, there's going to be a value exchange. You're offering something to that audience, your customers, and that value exchange basically creates a viable business, because that value exchange often means that money's going to change hands for the value you're going to do. So like if you look at a very simplistic overview, I filled it out here of a very simple business model canvas filled out for a village hall and how people might think about it. So you kind of read it. You sometimes often just focus on the right hand side, and then you kind of read it around like this, but I'll talk you through. So so first is kind of your value proposition. What are you offering to your audience? So the ability to hire a venue by the hour. It's cheaper than commercial venues. You do resident discounts and it supports your community, and you're targeting your residents and also non-residents. So those are your customer segments. And then we kind of go around to here. So channels is how are these customers going to find you? So traditionally, most village halls, they might have a website. They might not even have that, but I've just put like a basic channel up there. So and then once those customers have found you, or if you found them, what kind of relationship you have with them, and that, how do you engage with them? So sometimes there's no humans involved, it's completely automated, or sometimes there are humans involved. And often the relationship with your customers after they've reached you via that channel is like phone or email. So once you have got that relationship, how are you going to generate revenue? It's obviously fees for hiring by the hour or by the day. And then in terms of internally, what you've got to do to fulfill, that value proposition, you've got to manage the booking inquiries, requirements, and the confirmation, do invoicing, caretaking, maintenance, and then you might need a booking clerk and a caretaker. So that, and then cost structure here is just the basic costs of supporting that business, and the hope is that obviously the costs are lower than the revenue streams, and then you've got a profitable business, so it's balanced. And then sometimes you also need key partners. They could be, if you outsource your maintenance to any company, or could even be utility providers. So now this is like a very basic business model canvas, and now we're going to go throughout the talk, and we're going to try and upgrade it to be more of a profitable based business with different ideas in there. So the first thing you really need to understand is to know who your customers are. And this is going to really help you, Jackie and Julie, when you're thinking about this initial version of you going to market with your venue. It's not quite good enough, but you need to start acquiring customers in order to basically build on that and go and then grow it. On this business model canvas, I've just put, residents and non-residents. That's not good enough in terms of describing who your customer segments are, because it's really important to really understand who your potential customers are, so that when you market to them in your channels, then you're getting the right messages that match their particular needs. So so segmentation of those customers is really important, trying to break it down into kind of the behavior or their demographics. Or, I mean, you don't normally do geography because you're obviously constrained by geography. Depends actually what kind of venue you have. If you have a very fancy venue, then maybe your audience actually expands way beyond your particular town or parish. But you've got to really think about describing those, the types of customers that could, be using your venue, and then you prioritize those. So you guys want to have a crack at, so you've got residents and non-residents. How would you describe the type? I've had an attempt of doing that on the next slide, but it'd be interesting to hear what kind of customers you could be using your venue if you wanted to really describe them. Like if you got like your whole village and you had to name them, what attributes would they have? So I want to have a go at that.
Short-term and long-term bookings.
Long-term bookings. So that's kind of block bookings, repeat bookings. Yeah. And what kind of people would be doing those? So that's not that's sort of a behavior, but what would they be? Why would they be doing that?
Different groups that hold different events, exercise classes and
exercise classes. Good.
Yeah, tots, children's
groups. Yes,
children's groups like like mothers and parents and toddlers meeting. Yep, cool. Now you're definitely getting on the right track, because when you start thinking about those particular segments of customers, then when you come to do your marketing, you can tune that to it. So so I've had an attempt. It kind of matches pretty much what you've said. So societies and clubs, local health and fitness businesses, parents with kids in local primary schools, couples who maybe are engaged, be married, entertainers. So there's a mixture there of the customer segments. They're actually businesses and also kind of people. So some of those businesses like the health and fitness, like exercise, yoga, Pilates, Zumba, or whatever, they're kind of your customer, but then they'll also be attracting further customers to it. Yeah, so this is again, this is really important to kind of describe your customer segments as much detail as possible, because this will then really help you with marketing towards them. So when you've got these first venues, when you've acquired your buildings and they're not in the best shape, you've got to really think about who they're going to be suitable for in the first year, maybe, and then just focus all your efforts on that particular target group. So it may not be, you might have aspirations in the future for your venue to be able to hold business meetings and training workshops for businesses, that kind of thing, but you're not ready for that yet. So you've got to think about, okay, so who am I ready for? It could be suitable for, fitness, exercise classes. It could be suitable for maybe kids groups and maybe societies, but it may not be suitable right now for like parties, for instance. So you've got to think about that. Jackie.
Yeah, I was just going to say, John, I don't know whether it's appropriate just to share at this moment. What we did at Burscough was I put a notice on my website about 6 months ago saying that we were going to acquire the Interchange building, and asked for people who had an interest of maybe hiring space. We also put that in our newsletter. So I've actually got a list of different customers and residents that are waiting, for us to move into the Interchange building and for the space to be available. So I thought that was a really good place to start for us, because we're remodeling the internal changes as well, and we've taken kind of our aspiration from what those customers were wanting when they approached us after they realised that we were going to acquire the building. So that was, I think that's really that was really useful for us you know,
Becky, I don't think you need to do this actual workshop, because you're doing exactly the right thing, and I've actually got a slide on that later on. But yeah, because you guys are in this unique situation where you are actually a startup. You are actually building a business, so you actually may not know who your customer segments are. So you've done the exact right thing, reaching out to the community to find out what they would, you kind of, because if you're a startup, you've got your new venue and you brainstorm with your team or your ideas. They are just assumptions. They're just guesses. You need to validate those assumptions by reaching out to people and asking them. So you've done exactly the right thing to reach out, to start then getting a feeling of what kind of customer segments you can, reach, and then talking to people, so starting that conversation. So exactly done the right thing. For some businesses, some venues, it's already more established. So you will know what your customer segments are. And also sometimes you actually decide to fully focus on, you might be reaching all these different types of customers, and you already engage them and they're making bookings, but some customers might be higher revenue profit margins for you. So you may actually steer towards more of those and away from some of your lower, maybe your single bookings where it's too much hassle, or, you may really go for wedding, so you notice some venues fully steer to weddings as their main thing and big parties. But yeah, really good work there. So moving on, so we know our customers. So now you need the channel in the business is, how do they find you and how do you find them? It's both ways. What is the channel that you're going to use? The most basic channel is your actual venue. It's there, people drive past it. That is like your version 1 of your channel. And if you have a sign out there that says venue available for hire, that's the most simplistic offline channel you could do. So people knowing when they drive past that venue is available for hire, it is the most simplistic one. But I'm going to go on to digital channels. That's going to be my focus for this. And really, Google is king, in terms of the digital channel. And there's kind of 3 ways I'm suggesting here you can reach them. That's through the organic results, where you appear as a user, types in a search term, you appear on the first page. That's your goal. Then there's Google Maps, which I think you should seriously consider if you're not already. And then there's paid results. Paid results, I'm not going to focus on that today, but just to give you an example. So this is actually unique. This is part of the Google Maps, Google Places. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But no, let's do Norfolk wedding. When I type in such a big term there, like Norfolk, you've got all the paid results here. So they're all appearing there. And I don't think you guys need, it's fairly technical to do that. Don't think you need to worry about that for now, but you certainly need to ensure that you're appearing in this section, which is free, and then the actual full organic results that are here. So I'll be talking more about that. So organic results. So organic results, you do, obviously, if you're going to appear in Google, you do need a digital destination. So whether that's a website, because Google needs to crawl it. It could be a Facebook page, and it could basically a Facebook page. Your options are Facebook page right now, or website, which is kind of the easiest to do. Google, when it's ranking its results and trying to return relevant results to the users, needs words. Google cannot read images, so you have to have words. You've got to think about the 2 users. You've got, obviously, Google needs to have content like keywords, but then users like imagery. With imagery, you do have to add alt text to describe your image, which Google will be able to pick up, but words are really important. So I'm going to show maybe a couple of examples here where, which are doing a good job and bad job. So Trimmingham Hall is near me. It's a new hall, really nice hall. But like if you think about your Google trying to scrape and understand the content behind this, it's not got many words in there that describe what kind of events can be held there. So it just says, you know, Trimmingham Hall, postcode, phone number. It's got a photo there. It's got the address, it's got the trustees, the management committee, the premises, like this description. So if you're thinking about that target audience and the kind of events that you can be hosting there, and you're typing in children's party in North Norfolk or Trimmingham, it's not going to be coming up because there's no content on there to describe, you know, the types of activities that will be happening there. It's just really a description of it. And the photos don't really do, I mean, those photos are okay, but there's plenty more better photos. They don't really do it justice. If you look at this other one, it's quite nearby to Trimmingham, South Reps. Their site looks a lot more attractive to an end user. They've got all their photos in there, but they've got no text. So Google's not going to be out. Google know nothing about it. You know, if you look at the text here, there's just nothing on there that Google will be able to interpret the results if someone types in a search term. But then if you look at modern venue sites like Airbnb, which is in near Trimmingham, you know, it has great photos, so it looks great for the end user. It has all the basic information about the actual the home, and nice details about it, all the kind of services offered, and etc. So that's like a good example of what you want. So really the key thing is there, when you think about your target audience, you've got to describe it, you've got to write it down, you've got to have good imagery to be able to both ensure Google will pick up your page and rank it relevant to it, to the user search terms, but also once a user gets there, it looks nice. Moving on, this is like a really easy win. I'm not sure whether you are aware, but your venue probably already appears in Google results. So Google Maps results appear in two places. So here I showed you they appear in the inline results of Google Organic, but then if I type in the venue, so North Walsham Community Centre, it'll also appear on the right hand side here. So Google's already created this event, but you can, as a business owner, you can claim it. So it's only got basic information in here. So you see it, own this business. So I can actually click on that and click through and start and say that I own this business. You'll need to validate that verify that you actually own the business. It'll be a phone call, or I think they actually send you a postcard to physically to that same address, and then you'll have a code on that you will get that will be able to confirm that you own it. And then once you own it, you can then improve all the content on it. You can add your business hours, your phone number. You can add better description of the kind of services you offer there. And that will then improve your likelihood of actually appearing in the results here. So you're appearing right at the top. And what's also really great is you can accept, you can get Google ratings as a result of it. So as you can see here, if you invest in your Google Places or your business in Google, then you'll get higher rankings, free rankings here. You'll get all your ratings and reviews. You can upload your photos so that when anyone types in, those search terms, you'll get there. So that's free. It's already there. You do not need a website. You can put all your contact information on there, and it's a must. I'd say you should do that right now. However, moving on. Oh yes. Also, what I advise is that maybe you've got more than one facility. So like I showed you an example of North Walsham Community Centre. they also run the tennis courts here. So I would, if I was them, I would actually, you can add, if your place does not exist on Google, you can go to Google Maps and add it yourself. So I can go onto googlemaps.com, go into North Walsham. I'll turn on the aerial photographs here. There's the tennis courts. I know they're rented out. I could add a business there, yeah? So, and then, you know, because then you're segmenting your venues, you know, so that again, I could add tennis courts there. I could put the price to rent them. I could put a phone number, and then in the Google results, they would appear as an individual entity, you know, in there as well. So you can then, it's free marketing. You may as well do that. So if you're renting out a field or anything like that, or any other facilities, you should add, particularly if it's not in the same geography. So you've got the community center there, there's lots in there. But yeah, it deserves its own place. So I highly recommend you doing that. But you don't have to stop at Google. There's loads of other business directories out there that you could get listed on, and then you'll appear in those results. So, you know, when someone comes and does a search term, you know, with North for wedding venues, you may come up, that's in Google Maps, yeah. You may come up on other, you know, you might come up on Trustpilot or any other destination. So where am I? Come back here. Yeah. So you can go, you could create your own Facebook local page. You've got TripAdvisor, Trustpilot, Bing Places, Apple Maps, Yelp. You should look at all of them, you know, because it's a lot of them, some of them might be paid, Yelp might be paid, but a lot of them are free. So you may as well keep it updated. Moving on. So Google is king, Facebook is queen. So, you know, really most of, you know, UK are on Facebook at least every day. So you should try and reach people where they already are. And the most simple way to do that is actually just join local. Don't create your own. You don't have to create your own page if you don't want initially. You can just go and join existing ones. So I've searched for Facebook groups for Trimmingham, and I see that a whole bunch of these are nearby. So Trimmingham do have their own, well, they have a village group. They don't, there's no Facebook page for Trimmingham Hall itself, but they have all these nearby, and you can see the audience on there already. So 240 on the village group, 8.3K on a town nearby, 4.6K for, you know, so and 19K there. So it's a serious bunch of audience there that if you join them, you can then, you know, start promoting any events or at your village hall, your town hall, or, you know, promote your services. So that's kind of an easy win as well, because those groups already exist. Then you could create your own community page on Facebook group. So start creating your own audience, so that you can re-promote to share what's going on, etc. Yeah, and as you say, start a movement. So this is exactly what Jackie did. You know, we've got we're going to be acquiring this building. You know, asking questions out there. What do you want to do? You know, so that's pretty much an example of what Jackie did. So Facebook is queen, and then you could, if you post a Facebook, you make a Facebook post and it gets quite a lot of engagement. You can actually pay to promote that to increase the engagement. So your example of your post, Jackie, you got quite a lot of engagement. You could then actually boost it. So you'd have to have your own Facebook business account, but it's super easy. You can boost that post, and that will then promote it to a wider audience to get more feedback, you know, for yourself. But it could, likewise, if you're hosting an event at your village hall, you can boost it. And that's not, you know, it's not too technical to do. Then your other channel looking at is email. Email, you know, we're all very familiar with email. Email is cheap, it works. So you should look, you know, at building a subscriber list. So any of your customers, anyone that's ever engaged with you, you can start building up that subscriber list. Obviously, you get consent for that. But you can actually reach out. So we talked about those customer segments. We talked about the potential exercise classes. You could go and actually Google and look up yoga teachers, or Pilates, dance teachers, or anyone in your area. Get their email and email them directly and ask them. We're going to be we're looking at expanding our services, attracting business like yourself. Would you be willing to come along? So that's kind of super easy to do. And yeah, again, I highly recommend it because we're all familiar with email. Again, you could ask counselors to email friends they think might be interested in your venue. So it's not only growing your own subscriber list, but it's also actively reaching out to people to get them interested according to your customer segments. So now, as you see now in the blue there, the channels there have upgraded. So in this example, I've talked about emailing schools, because you're hosting parties there, emailing clubs and other businesses, joining Facebook groups. Once you've got your subscriber list, you can start doing a monthly newsletter of what's happening, have your own website page, have your own Google. So now your channels, you're reaching more and more people through different channels as opposed to just website. So now you've got your customers, you know who they are, you're reaching them. So once you've reached them, you've got to think about their experience from their perspective on how they engage with you. So what kind of relationship you're going to have. And we spoke earlier about phone and email. So I would say there's two types. There's high touch and low touch. So high touch relationships are very good if you're providing like a very specific service, like a concierge service at a hotel. If you think about someone who's booking a venue, particularly if it's a single booking, and then you think about their experience, and what we find with some of our customers before they used us, that the buying experience, like you're just trying to book for a party, can be quite convoluted. You can't get hold of anyone. You phone up, you leave a message, they might call you back, but you're not available. Then you leave a message again, and then finally you get to speak to someone. Then you share a bunch of emails. You've got to, look at the terms and conditions, and it's quite a convoluted process. There's a lot of barriers. If you think, you're a busy person, you're trying to organize a birthday party for your child, and you're also working during the day, it's very difficult for you to do that. These days, if you're doing simple booking things, consumers are used to experiences like on booking hotel rooms, Airbnb. You can do that, there and then on your mobile phone, as this lady is doing then when she has time to do that. And you've got to think about that, because normally with town and village halls, it's not a very slick experience. And as a result, putting all these barriers in place means you're going to lose customers, basically, because if they're looking up a venue and they see it, and even if there's just a phone number there, they think, and then they phone that phone number and there's no one there, and they have to leave an answer, a message there, you kind of already lost them, because they're already looking for something else now, because they need to book it there and then. So there's something you've got to think about. And also, you've got to think about the whole experience for your customers, and you could create a playbook from the whole initial first touch to the booking, and then the after sales experience, ensuring they've got all the relevant information at the right time, details about the final venue, details and instructions about turning up, any payment reminders, or if you've got repeat bookings, you have those renewals, ensuring any of you've got a weekly booking for yoga class, when that renewal comes up, that you follow up, always getting feedback. Feedback requests are really good. If you're providing a really good service, you always ask them to leave a review on Google, because then your star rating will go up, and then you'll look more trustworthy. And then also, obviously, the playbook around caretaking and maintenance, all that kind of stuff. So you know, that's kind of the relationship. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a demo, a live demo on Scribe. But yeah, our goal is really to enable communities to spend more time. Community leaders such as yourself spend more time engaging the community and less time administering it. And we do provide a few solutions for that right now: accounts, cemetery, venue hire, and allotments. And we do have venue hire. We call it Scribe Bookings. It enables you to manage venue bookings for single or block bookings, have preferential rates, etc. So I'm going to try and attempt to take this Trimming page and make it a lot better. So I'm going to create a venue on Scribe here. So I'm going to add, I was just testing it earlier, so I'm going to delete that one. Just testing I've got everything right. So I'm going to go and add the venue here. So let me just, I've got some copy and paste here. So it's Trimming Hall. I'll put a little description. I'll say it takes 50, 100 standing. I'll look up the venue. So this actually, I'll look up, it's looking for the actual place. So once it finds the actual place, as in those places you saw in the results, then you're able to pull in the ratings and the reviews from those users on your own page. So I'll just add in time, opening hours. So I'm setting up this venue from scratch here. I'll add some photos that I found online, which some of them weren't even on the site. And I'll use that one as the main photo just because it looks cool. You can actually add a video. So I've got a video there. Fees I've already set up, so I'll just select them there, and then I'll say what kind of things that can happen there. It's a very professional venue. So I'll just click a few things there, and then additional services. Yes, there is parking. It's free. And I'll just say local near venue. I'll say, yes, we can do catering, refreshments, and it's paper attendee. It's £3.95. And let's just say, yeah, projector, HDMI connection is available, free. Yeah, so you can set up, and you can actually add your own facilities if you want. So I'll add that venue there. Right, so let's go to, where am I going now? So the actual online booking page this is. So I've got some other venues. I'll go down to Trimming Hall here. You can see a snapshot of basic information about it, and then I'll load it up there. So you can see it looks a lot better than your first impressions of their actual site, and you can click through and look at all the nice pictures. As you can see, it is an amazing venue. It's not booked all the time, but you can see there's activity going on there. That's dog training by the looks of it, so it's good to show that off. And then we'll automatically create this text for Google to pick it up. So if anyone's typing in a search term music practice venue, it'll come up. You've got the map there, you've got the additional services, calendar view, no bookings on it right now, and then you've got a video embedded there. So it's all attractive, and then all the results from the Google reviews are embedded in there too. So all really good reviews. As you can see, it's an amazing venue, and actual photos from Google as well. So that's kind of a nice professional page. And then what's most important from a user's perspective is you can, book it. So you can read the terms and conditions, obviously. So John Fagan at scribeaccounts.com. I'll just put anything in there. No terms and conditions. Okay. Put in my address, monthly. And as a party, put in the reasons, complete the booking there. And that's all booked. And then probably if I go and check my mail, there's the booking confirmed. Inquiry is an inquiry actually. So basic details in there. And then I've also got a text there. You won't be able to see it, but I've got a SMS text to confirm the booking. So that creates a professional looking, well, it's a professional experience. I'm able to do it really quickly. So there's no barriers, very low friction, able to do it, revenue goes up, you know, because you don't lose that. So yeah, that's a little bit overview. Scribe. So if I continue, so now on the customer relationship, got online booking now available. So that's a different relationship. So it's self-serve, but it's online bookings for one-off single bookings. And then you email for block bookings, you know, for the yoga teachers, and then maybe phone for big events, and then automated reminders via SMS and email. So you don't have to worry about that as a booking clerk. All that kind of messaging is taken care of in the background. So that creates a great experience. So now you can see we're really improving our kind of offering. So that's, you've got this base here. You've got the, you know who your customers are, you're reaching them, you know, through the right channels, but you've always got to experiment. We at Scribe, we review our channels every year, what's working and what's not working, and improve on them. And you've got the, you know, a great customer experience for them. So then, you know, like say, targeting the right product to the right people, providing great customer experience, and then you can let the flywheel go. And this, you know, you may then transition into a different kind of business. So this is a little bit overwhelming, but I'm going to kind of walk you through it. So you could, you know, see yourself transitioning into an entertainment venue, you know, so you're not just simply a venue that kind of just takes bookings. You're turning into, you're more about promoting your value proposition is more about promoting your actual partners that you work with now. So a lot of those customers that have now moved to partners, and that you've got all the marketing sorted out, so you become a entertainment venue, you do weekly health and fitness, you've got clubs and societies, so it's a completely different value proposition now. You've turned it into a community center with lots going on. It's not, your value proposition isn't like you can book a room by the hour. And you may actually then need to hire an events manager. So you're providing a lot of value add on top of that. So, you know, you have people wanting to organize big events, and you get events management fees, commission from partners, fees for hiring, still fees for hiring by the hour. Well, there's kind of all kinds of things you could be doing. It's kind of a bit overwhelming, but all these kind of things that you could be doing, street food, etc., and all kinds of different revenue streams now that could be available to you. So hopefully that inspires you to kind of think about where you could go. And I do like that idea of, you know, you're transitioning from like a resource to an entertainment center. You know, that's completely different marketing strategy in the end. So out of those, what did you enjoy the most helpful out of those kind of ideas? Anything resonated with you?
I think for me it was because we're at the very, very beginning of this, and we have it's not a drawback, but we already have current users because the building came from the local district council. So for instance, the community library, and that is already in there. So that is why for me it's seeing how we can move forward, but in a probably slower mode, not necessarily than you've indicated there, because we have to keep the people we've got, if you know what I mean, while we try to remodel and everything else. Unlike Jackie, who has obviously a situation where she's got the chance of the building and then she can change it, and obviously sounds as though she has access to funds. we have already tried to apply for a lottery grant, which we hoped we would get, so that we could do that remodeling quite instantly, but that hasn't happened. So we're investigating other sort of streams of revenue, looking for grants, finding places that we can get money. But it is going to be, I think, a sort of walk before we run type thing.
Yeah, but I quickly went through that presentation. That process definitely won't be happening in a year. It's kind of the thinking and the strategy that might happen over 5 years.
Yeah.
10, maybe your vision is to get to an entertainment venue, but that's your 5-year roadmap.
Yeah.
This is where you start. If you think about it like, you're strategically doing it, so you currently got your current customers, got to keep them happy. You may also have to accept that over time, as you grow, you might lose some of your old customers because you're going in a different direction now. You may not be meeting those needs, because they're kind of called early adopters in the startup world. And sometimes you can't build your business around your early adopters as you want to scale. But yeah, the grants is a good one, so again, like if you use tools, if you have less administration time, we got a great example of Sally Ferguson. Since she started using our technology, she has to do less admin, and now she spends more time finding grants and applying for grants. And she's only got a small precept of 16K, but she's managed, I'll bring up maybe example here. It's a good, because it is a nice example of Sally Ferguson. Yes, she's only got 16K precept, but she's got 52,000 in grants. She's spending less time now doing administration. And as a result of that grant, she's done a climate change facelift to the sports club, and now she can open the community cafe 6 days a week, and she started employing youngsters. That's a really good example there. But that's kind of a lot of the, our goals is to kind of free up your time so you can be doing these things. And we got a lady also locally in the pandemic. She runs a community hall. She's done all kinds of things, particularly she's using the car park. Because that is an asset. So she is having loads of street food all the time. There's buzzing. She's still generating revenue. She's charging, rental fees to the street. But she taking care of the promotion. Obviously, the street food were promoting themselves, but she already had her own channels, so she was able to, promote it. And even if she didn't have channels, you can go onto other channels and promote it. We're just general chatting now. Any questions?
Could I just ask a question, John? I've got a bit of difficulty kind of thinking about how much per hour I'd be wanting to charge for the space in the building, and I don't know really how to disseminate that or work out what it should be, or how I can find out. Or
there's two things. Three things. One is actually you look at your competitors, if you have any. So in your area, people offering similar venues, or actually just look at a similar sized town or parish in a different area and have a look at those and collect a list of 20. So if you haven't got any direct competitors in your own area, really good for you. But then go and look at similar areas, create a spreadsheet of their different. One thing I must tell you is keep your pricing simple. We find as we migrate some of our customers from their their paper-based or Excel-based booking system onto ours, they have really complicated pricing, which creates another barrier for customers trying to engage with you. But so one is look at competitors or other similar businesses, and then two is talk to ask people. So you've got that list, you've got that, you dropped your Facebook post, you got some response, just ask them, what do you think? you know, I've done my research. This looks like the current pricing out there. What do you think about this? Is this fair? So that's the third thing. The second thing. The third is, I don't know if you're trying to run a viable business. So, you know, always sustained by the precept, but you need to look at the costs of running the place, and then estimates on your utilization, you know, how many bookings you're going to need to break even. So you've got to take that into consideration. So doing competitor research, speaking to people, looking at the viability of the business, and then that's where you take that to council, you know, with your recommendations.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. And we were thinking of, we've started looking around at different packages. I don't know if you know of any, John, where you can do a booking online for a room, either by the hour or as a block, as a daily rate, and that they can pay online.
Oh yeah. That's, I mean, maybe I should try and be more of a salesperson, but yeah, Scribe Bookings does that, so you can pay online. So it integrates with Stripe, like a payment system. So yeah.
What's that name again? It just broke up a bit.
The payment integrates with Stripe, but you don't need. Yeah, it's called Stripe. So when you set up bookings system on Scribe, the software we provide, you then also have to add your Stripe account, and then you're able to accept payments online. Yeah. So again, that's another thing about reducing the friction for customers. Like if they can just go online, book it, pay for it, get their email, it's all done. You know, they can do that literally in 5 minutes, you know, while they're, you know, waiting for the kettle to boil, if it's a big kettle. And then they'll then get all the automated messaging after that, you know, bookings confirmed, and then reminder about their booking with instructions, etc. Then it's just like you're, you know, using a modern service. Yeah. So I'll if you don't mind, Jackie, I'll get one of my team members to contact you.
Useful, yeah, really useful to speak to somebody. That would be handy. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Any other questions? Question to you guys: did you like this kind of approach of the business model canvas, or is it a bit too? Because I could remove that basically from the whole talk and just focus on kind of more practical side of stuff, you know, just like, you know, get a Facebook page and all that. But yeah, the idea of positioning it around that.
I think it was useful to have that, because I think it, like you're saying, for someone like our council, we're moving forward in the very early days, but it gives you an overview of what you can aim for and how you can, for argument's sake, in your customer section, you might not fill in all those categories straight away, but it lets you look at what are the categories you should look at and what can you fill now and how can you move forward. So personally, but then I like, I like lists and seeing what I need to do. Not everybody looks at it like that.
Yeah, it's not quite a list, but it is a list. Yeah, it's kind of where you want to be now and then where you want to go. You can review it once a year, and you can look at you can describe any business on that business model canvas. Tesco's, Amazon, Netflix, a corner shop, anything, and they can all think about, you know, like if you are a corner shop and your channel is the physical shop, hello pandemic, you're closed, I need a new channel. My channel, my physical shop is not working anymore, so I need to do a delivery service. You know, so it's such a simple way to look at things, and it doesn't matter what business.
It gives you good direction as to where you're heading. Yeah. Are you sharing all the
yeah, I'll share all that. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll share this recording as well. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 minutes ago, if that's it, I'll say goodbye to you all and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Really useful.
Yeah, really good.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.